Goddamn asteroids. What did we watch? What did you choose, Sean?
Space Raiders.
Yes.
Space Raiders.
A Roger Corman joint. Repurposed from other things.
Yeah.
Notably Battle Beyond the Stars.
So, like, he produced this, right?
That's what he does, yeah.
Yeah. So does he ever, I mean, I will say this, like, I'm not that educated on Roger Corman. I haven't even seen Battle Beyond the Stars. So, which I'm going to change soon. But did he ever just direct stuff, or was he always a producer?
I think like early westerns, the early western stuff he did.
He directed several. He directed Little Shop of Horrors, didn't he?
Yeah, I was pretty sure he actually directed the original. So. Yeah, I've seen that.
So I mean, yeah, he's directed some movies.
Yeah,
but he's produced a hell of a lot more than he's directed for sure.
Right.
Figured that was less work.
Yeah. You did good, Sean. Good choice. You chose well.
Thanks.
Yeah.
This one was in the hat because of me too, so I even feel a little bit better.
Oh
about
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Yes, we were browsing through my collection out there, not in here. Which
Several
has
weeks
all this
ago.
stuff. Yeah, and that came up in the conversation of like, oh, what's this kind of thing?
It's got a fetching cover, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure. So I dug this one.
Yeah, me
this
too.
was not a stinker.
This is God, I don't even know really like.
It's a real movie.
It's a real movie.
Yeah, it's an actual movie,
and it's a very enjoyable movie.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of stymied on how we should proceed with this episode.
I mean, it's got its issues. let's not beat around the bush.
Right.
Like,
no, it's not a perfection film. By any means,
I'll just say that I have seen it before, and I watched it as a kid. This was 1983, so I was probably the same age as the kid that's in the movie.
Yeah, that must have been awesome.
But I vividly more so remember Battle Beyond the Stars. And then when I saw Space Raiders, I was like, why are they using the same ships?
I know, right?
In Battle Beyond the Stars. So it wasn't until probably a good decade or two later, once you start learning who your directors are, who your producers are, who Roger Corman is, or whoever it is, when you know the story of Roger Corman, he likes to utilize as much as he possibly can from his other films and not even try to hide it.
Yeah.
The ship from Battle Beyond the Stars is in this as the main ship as well. I know that ship has been used in other films, and I can't remember which one it was, but they just turned it upside down.
Okay.
Essentially.
Now, it looked like, just from, because, when I was looking at the Battle Beyond the Stars, it looked like it was a slightly different color. Is that the case? Did they just repaint it?
Oh, it's a repaint job for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Because
it's very orange.
Right.
In Battle Beyond the Stars.
Oh, is it? Okay.
They might have just muted it a bit.
Interesting.
In this one. But I could still tell that there was an orange.
I also like how that's not the ship that's on the cover. So they were like trying to like fool people and be like, no, it's actually not the same ship, but it's totally the same ship.
They have like the Hammerhead one on there? No, that's not even...
No, I don't think that is in the movie at all. Yeah, it's
I don't recognize that.
Yeah, it's a completely just not in the movie at all ship.
But I don't think I saw this one in the theater. I do have a fond memory of Battle Beyond the Stars. Because we're not going to be doing it here, but I love telling this story because it's so vivid in my brain. We would go to the drive-ins, and my sister and I would be in the back. Mom and Dad would be in the front, and they were usually like double or triple features. I believe this one was just a double feature.
Triple feature?
But I don't know if it was triple or not, or if we just showed up late. But I definitely remember Battle Beyond the Stars because that's what we watched. By the time the last feature came on, we fell asleep in the back, my sister and I, because it was so late. And it was Up in Smoke.
Oh, wow.
Followed it. And my parents were laughing so hard and they kept waking us up, and I was going, what are you laughing? What's so funny? Because we want to know where, this must be a good movie. And so then they had to leave because they kept waking us up by their laughter. So that's like my memory of Battle Beyond the Stars. And of course, I've seen that one many more times since then. But Space Raiders came out on Blu-ray. For some reason, it bounced back into my memory, and I ordered it, and I haven't seen it in quite a long time. So it was nice to kind of
So it's your first time watching the Blu-ray as well?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. It's just one of the. I mean, I'm just like you guys. I will buy stuff for the sake of like,
Sure.
okay, I just one day I'll crack this open, or just to collect it, or I know I'm not going to just throw it in the pile of crap, or it's something to share for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, there's certainly things about this film that are very low budget, not just the repurposed scenes, which I have to take your word for that, because I don't think I've seen the films that are repurposed, but even within the film itself, it reuses the same explosion effects. It's got multiple of the exact same model shot of ships that you just see over and over again in the film. Some of them are like reversed. We had like the one that was like the really big ship that was panning around from one side, and then occasionally you'd see it panning around from the other side.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that it's just like the mirror image of that exact same thing. So it's got a lot of stuff like that. It's got, like a lot of times hokey special effects where it's like a wound will move. Like literally, he got shot on the other side when he first got shot.
Of the chest, yeah.
Yeah. And then
Next scene is switched
next
the other
it's
side.
different, right? So there's like a lot of things like that. But with all that said, like I think the core of this film is actually really solid. I really like how it really seemed incredibly original in a lot of ways, even though you look at this like, okay, this is just a Battlestar Galactica, whatever, it's Star Wars, but you have things like, it starts off with a bunch of these people who are literally just going in and robbing a place, right? And they're not only killing robots, and they're not killing bad guys, like they're straight up robbing a place,
right.
And they're actually like killing people, but like they end up to be your heroes. And I found that to be really interesting, because like usually you're going to have more kind of, so if someone's going to be an anti-hero, they're not really going to do anything that bad.
Right.
I mean, sure, you might have, Han Solo shooting Greedo, but that's not that big of a deal in the scheme of things. Like these people are straight up, criminals.
Yeah.
And then like this little boy stows away, which I don't think we ever find. Do we ever know why he does that?
Well, I think he just stowed away to get away from the
He just
battle.
said, get out of here, kid.
Right. Yeah.
And his curiosity, I suppose. You could even say that about the bug. Like he was curious about the bug,
Right.
And capturing the bug. That was almost like like you would say, like a simile to him being a stowaway. Like he was the bug trapped in the ship.
Yeah.
Oh no, he needs to breathe, and so like then the can was him getting on the ship, as opposed to being.
I do like that. That is an interesting like little metaphor thing.
I like that.
And so I like how there was stuff about how when when like there's some really good scenes in this, like with the scene with the kid shooting the asteroid.
Well, the kid shooting the asteroid's a highlight moment of the.
Yeah, it's so good. And he's like drinking a beer, and I like how it's like they like, here kid, have a beer, and it's like this kind of great bonding moment of like, you're one of us, but at no point does any one of them say, no, don't give that kid alcohol, right?
Right. Well, they're pirates.
Yeah, no, and that's great. Like they're genuinely pirate.
Have a beer, hot shot.
Goddamn rocks!
Don't murder those people that are.
Yeah.
Whatever,
because the kid straight up kills people later in the movie, and they don't question it at all.
Nope.
And what it reminds me of, it does, like you said, it reminds me of a pirate story.
Yeah,
because there's always the stowaway, the young stowaway that's on the pirate ship that didn't, like even Cabin Boy did that to a certain degree. So I think that's where the root of it came from, as far as their story goes.
Yeah.
And I'm going to mention Battle Beyond the Stars more often than not. But Battle Beyond the Stars is the Seven Samurai story.
Yeah.
Magnificent Seven told again.
Sure.
In space.
So this really brought to mind a few things for me. I know you were saying Battlestar Galactica, but it really brought to mind Guardians of the Galaxy.
Sure.
And also Galaxy Quest. Very much. Which I know that, Galaxy Quest is obviously Star Wars or Star Trek, but I really felt that this was, I mean, even to the point of like, you know, when you said
music?
by but when you were like by Grabthar's hammer, I was like, dude, that I thought about, you know, constantly. I thought about Alan Rickman's character from Galaxy Quest. With that guy,
because the alien on the ship had the same kind of, you know,
Weird
shaped
head, yeah.
shaped head.
Yeah.
Alan Rickman
and then
had.
you know, well, spoilers that he gets killed, and when he dies in front of the boy, I mean, it was a perfect opportunity
Absolutely.
to say, you know,
Yeah.
by
But I was
Grabthar's
thinking
hammer.
about that the whole thing.
Bigger spoiler, everybody gets killed.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Right? Like everybody dies in this
Let's
movie.
get that out of the way. There's a reason
much.
that their Space Raiders did not become a franchise.
Right? They're like, well, we're not
Like,
making any
two
sequels
people
to this.
survived this whole movie.
So was I right or wrong that his parents were on that big hammerhead ship?
I don't know, man. I lost
I thought they were.
I
The
lost track.
spatial, no pun intended, awareness of
Oh,
where
yeah.
everybody was at this time.
It was hard.
It's very
Big
difficult.
time. It felt like at some point they were, you know, they just said, we don't want to have any more than like 2.5 minutes without something happening in space. So they just took footage and just put it in there. Even if it didn't really make any sense, it's just, here's a ship shooting another ship. Or here's a ship zooming around.
Right.
The next year was when Last Starfighter came out, and that also has underdeveloped characters in it. I think that that was more by design because they wanted that to become a franchise. But, you know, like the whole Zur and the bad guys are never really developed, you know, at all. And in this case, really what should be the heroes are never really developed at all. It's like the kids' parents are non-parents. They're not bad. You know, they're not ever shown as bad people.
Sure.
But the corporation that they work for is implied to be bad.
Yeah, but you
or
never really see
nefarious. But
why.
yeah, and the woman who kind of runs that ship that is pretty like mean-spirited and ruthless, but again,
But not
you don't
evil.
know why.
You know, but she's not like evil. I didn't see, unless I just like lost like what
No,
evil
but she
things did
was
do.
careless. She was just
Right.
like, I'll shoot down this ship with your son on it. I
Totally.
don't care.
She just seemed like-
if we get him, great.
Yeah.
You know, if we don't, then I don't care.
Yeah.
So that
totally.
wasn't his mother.
No, I don't think that
I
was
didn't
his
think so,
mother.
no.
Yeah.
I thought it was like mom and dad, like trying
Right.
to get their kid back, but it was just dad.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was just the dad. That's what it seemed like.
Yeah, I thought it was the dad going up the chain of command.
So this is kind of like Finding Nemo.
I mean, I guess
The
like
kid, you know,
yeah.
doesn't have a mom. The dad
Right.
is like trying to find his kid. There
Yeah,
could be a
if it,
whole,
like,
there could be
never-
a whole separate movie.
Right.
if there was more murder in Finding Nemo.
No, no. Take Finding Nemo
Okay.
and then put it in the dad's perspective.
right.
And
right.
just do a whole movie on the dad's perspective, and it'd be just like Finding Nemo.
Yeah, it'd just be, you know, him just standing in a room watching ships on a screen constantly.
Yeah.
The same animation
Right.
of the model of the
Yeah.
ship.
I felt that I really like the energy of it was how it, you know, they had another part that I really, really loved was like the needless, just like ground roll. It's like when the female space raider,
Yep.
when she was like shooting at people, and then she like gets down, does a roll, and then like sits up and shoots something, and that was completely unnecessary.
Right.
But I kind of felt that's what they were going for, and there was just like a lot of energy to everything. Like I just kind of got the impression of a director saying, no, more energy, you know, and it's just like, because every time they were running, and specifically Flight Plan, who is the name of the little alien guy, he would just like always had this prance about him, and I thought it was really funny. And he didn't play him
How he like hopped over that body, that robot or whatever.
He
when
did like a
jumped
little skip hop, and he's wearing like this purple scarf, and they're not like playing him as effeminate at all.
No.
But like he definitely, and I think, you know, in his character he wasn't that at all, but very much like the way he moved. He had like this you know, this was the only one that was like open all the way down, and he had like this purple scarf that he always wore.
Yeah, and you could say because he's an alien, maybe, you know, like his body movements were more fluid if it was conscious of him as building the character to do that.
Absolutely.
Kind of like Cat on Red Dwarf.
Yeah, I don't understand that reference, but
Oh my gosh, you have
yeah.
to watch Red Dwarf.
Isn't that like a lot? Isn't Red Dwarf like 90 million episodes or something? Like,
Yes, but I mean, once you start,
You're
you'll just get
confusing with
completely
Doctor Who,
sucked
I
in.
think.
I don't got time, but I mean, if you want to give me a selection of the best Red Dwarves, I'll take a crash course on it.
Oh, you can't
know?
no, because it
Yeah.
it goes. It's a series that
I don't have
they're
time.
not necessarily episodic.
But I will make
It's
a
only
super cut.
12 seasons right now.
Yeah, so I'm saying like there's like 12. So make like a
Over
super cut
30
for me.
years.
Yeah, totally. You can do the curated version of Red Dwarf.
But they're only
for me.
half an hour.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
That's
So
cool.
they're over
It's
before
like
you know it.
still going or something, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they picked it up again. Maybe
Yeah.
like 10
I do need
years
to
ago,
watch
8 or 10 years ago.
Red Dwarf. My friend Lucy was actually in an episode of Red Dwarf.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Yeah. So
I didn't realize it was still going.
yeah.
I thought it was something that ended years ago.
Well, it did, but then it started up again. I think in like season 10,
Yeah.
they decided to revisit it, and it's like every couple years they put out another season
Nice. Awesome.
with all the original people, original writers, all that stuff.
But it wasn't just that guy too. Like, I mean, sure, he pranced around, but really everybody, they always just like each one of them had like a certain kind of style. Like you had the chick, she was always just like, holding a weapon, like this and like shooting up. And then it's like they would always just wherever they were going, like they did it with feeling.
It reminded me a bit of Buckaroo Banzai in that respect,
Mm-hmm.
that everybody had their own little character.
Right.
They didn't have enough time to really express that too much. But by the end of the film, I mean, you recognized who each participant was and
Yeah.
somewhat what their strengths were, and they believed in in protecting this kid and getting this kid home. You actually, you felt for it. I mean, not to say that I was bawling at the end of this.
Yeah.
But by the when Hawk was hurt and everybody else was dead and they're on their last string, last hope, you felt it. You felt the emotion. There was emotion
It
there.
seemed to have genuine emotion
Yeah.
in it,
I actually think it's pretty genuinely well acted too. For the most
kid
part.
did not bother
Totally.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You would think like when you see like a child in a movie,
yeah.
you'd be going, "Oh my gosh,
I can't.
this is just gonna
the
like."
child actors. Oh my god! Like it's like and I don't think I'm alone here.
No.
But it's like, yeah, he was totally fine. Like he acted it well. I think the end scene where he was crying, he acted that pretty good. Like he wasn't like annoyingly precocious. He acted like an actual kid. He wasn't too cutesy.
He wasn't Butch the bully.
Sure. Yeah. He wasn't Butch the bully. Yeah, I
He
definitely
was
liked
not
him a lot.
hamming it up at
Right.
all at any point.
Bored, I feel like picking on someone. And look over there. If it's not cool Cat Maria, they think they're so cool. Longer punk up. Maria's prettier, South Texter's ugly.
And I like how they had like one of their own die early on, and they felt it. It wasn't like you got the impression. That's one thing I really liked about the world building was, sure, we come into it and we don't get a lot of backstory about what's happening, but you see in the way that they, it's like one of their own gets shot and they bring him back to the ship and they're trying to bring him back to life and they, like say words over him after he's dead. And it's like, you can tell he was a member of the family and that these aren't just like cold-hearted space pirates who don't care. Like, yeah, they are doing things, they are killing people and stuff like that, but that doesn't mean they have to be one-dimensionally evil. They can still care for their own. They can still take care of this little kid. I also like the idea of like kind of just the plot way of having the little boy stow away on there, and that's why they can't just shoot them down, right? And so I like the fact they're like, well, we can't just shoot it, there's a kid aboard. So they actually, it kind of gave them a good baked in reason to not just end it.
Not only that, but
To a degree.
there were a lot of things in this that had payoffs. So even we'll start at the beginning when they were trying to save their friend, their partner. They used all that equipment. Well, that showed up again at the very, because the kids saw all that interaction of like this guy got shot.
Right.
They had to use the penis pump. They had to use this other thing, the bike tire inflator thing,
And
and
a suction cup at the end of it.
so we knew. And plus, I was like, well, where would he know where all that stuff is? But then I remember when he was just kind of meandering around the ship, he was kind of poking around and looking where stuff was. So, I mean, it's reasonable that he'd be able to find that medical kit right away at the end. But there was also the thing, which is the Guardians of the Galaxy thing that I thought of, is that, he can fit into tight spaces.
Oh, yeah.
So they did that at the beginning. They also did that kind of toward the end when he got away from the bad guys and was crawling through the ducts or whatever. And I thought they'd bring that again. But at least they did a lot of that stuff in twos at the very least.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm sure there are other examples, but that's something that a lot of the lower budget films forget to do, is have your payoffs. They'll show you something once and then and that's it. I mean, you could even say drinking the beer thing, had payoffs in times.
Of course. Yeah, even the cans of beer in general, using the can to have the little creature held in and everything. It's that stuff was brought up.
I could see myself actually using that lesson as a kid. If I saw this as a kid, I would cut open a can like that and put a bug in there or something and walk around with it.
Yeah. And that was also really smart too, because they had this great stop motion bug in the beginning. And, they're they can't do stop motion this whole movie. They don't have the budget for that. So their solution to it was to put it in a can, and he's still carrying it around, but you can't see it anymore. So they don't have to do the special effect anymore.
Right.
Yeah. I thought that was pretty good.
Was that bug reused from anything? Do you recognize that?
I don't think it was. No.
Oh, okay.
But we also asked if James Cameron was somehow connected to some of the modeling.
Right. Yeah. And I didn't see him in the credits.
He wasn't in the credits, but
Rachel Talalay was,
right?
Who, as we discovered, directed Tank Girl. But yeah, I mean, again, who knows who is all ever actually fully credited? As I understand it, Roger Corman just had a factory essentially, and he had all these people coming through and working there for a little bit and just kind of learning the craft there. And I'm sure he had a lot of very talented people, but there is a a disparate amount of special effects in this. Some of it are just not good at all.
Well, and also I think, and I could be wrong here, or I could be completely right, is that if you're reusing footage, do you necessarily have to give that person
good point
credit?
Yeah.
I mean, especially back then.
Right.
It's I already own this, and I already gave them credit on that last movie.
Sure.
That is originally for.
But I think that's the reason for a lot of the look of this movie being uneven.
Yeah.
Some of that footage is several years old. Some of it's brand new. Some of it, who knows when it was used, or the quality of the print that they pulled it from, even.
Right.
So.
What this also reminded me of is Firefly. Yeah, definitely. Especially even down to the point, of where he was an ex-military guy, that's never really explored a whole lot. But yeah, very, very Firefly. Absolutely.
And the family ties of everybody on that ship together. Yeah. No, I can see where you saw Guardians of the Galaxy is where I saw Firefly. Yeah,
well, and I also saw the Firefly, but yeah, I mean, I definitely, I think it's got, Guardians draws on things like Firefly as well, right? So yeah, absolutely. But yeah, no, I saw that, and I think it just had really good lines in it. There's the part where she was like, oh, I don't like kids, but especially nice kids. I was like, that's such a good line. And then what was the line with the asteroid? What was the exact line?
Goddamn rocks.
Goddamn rocks. Yeah, exactly. It was so good. Goddamn rocks. It was fantastic. And there was a lot of good little business in there as well. There's the whole space bar brawl that happens.
In the cantina.
Yeah, exactly. The cantina thing. I thought that was just
I love the guy
fun.
That's every time you go to that cantina is building a house of cards in the center.
Yeah, exactly. He's
my favorite part is that somebody there's chaos going around him, and he's trying to balance this house of cards so it doesn't top over. But there is a scene where somebody walks by and does bump the table, and the entire card rocks.
Yeah, totally. And I think my favorite part was the part where there's like a guy with a bunch of tentacles eating like a pie. He's eating like a space pie, and he's like getting down on this space pie. He's like really into it. And then like during the fight, somebody just grabs the space pie away and throws it in somebody's face. And I'm like, come on, any movie where you get a space pie in the face ain't all bad. And also,
Dick Miller cameo.
Dick Miller
Gotta cover that.
wearing a freaking space helmet, and it's just like, and literally Dick Miller in the movie for like, a minute of the whole movie, and that's it. That's his credit. And Dick Miller's just like as this hologram like space car salesman. He's like selling spaceships, and it's just Dick Miller like in, just like a suit, but wearing like
a used car salesman suit.
Yeah, it's like a used car salesman suit wearing like a space helmet, and that's it, with like two tubes not even attached to anything. It's so good.
Crazy Mel.
Yeah.
Crazy
Mel. Oh, perfect. And then also, and I wanted to get his name. Like I wish I had this memorized, but like it's William Boyett, who I absolutely love in The Hidden. As like
where I was trying to place him.
I was like,
because it's those goddamn
I like
eyes
this
and
car.
eyebrows. Yeah, I like that car.
Yeah. I like this car. Yeah, exactly. So I really loved that guy from The Hidden, and so it's nice to see him pop up as well.
They need a proper release of The Hidden.
Oh, they're supposed to do one.
It's on Blu-ray.
Yeah. They did just do a Blu-ray.
Warner Archive.
It was like last year, I think.
It's really good.
Earlier
it's really
this year.
good.
It's really good.
Really good.
Really good.
Yeah, it's not like does it have a ton of special features?
It has all the I mean, could you do a more super deluxe edition?
Gotcha.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
But I believe it has everything that was on the DVD.
Hey, Shout Factory, Scream Factory, I'm talking to you.
Yeah.
Get
do
on
The
it.
Hidden.
Hey, Arrow, I'm talking to you.
Arrow.
You have
The Hidden.
You have a relationship with Warner Brothers.
Yeah.
I know you do.
Exactly. Yeah. Oh man, Hidden's such a good movie. But yeah, no, I definitely dig this, man. I mean, it had. Oh yeah, I want to also talk about the kind of villain. I can't remember his name. This green dude. Like, I really liked him.
He was great.
Too. Yeah, he was super good.
It takes a lot to act behind all that makeup and really emote.
And I'm
he
sure
definitely did.
He probably couldn't see anything.
Oh, no way.
He was literally blind through the whole thing. There's no way he was seeing.
Well,
through that mask.
he's either sitting down or just standing in one spot.
Sure.
So
yeah.
he didn't really have to do anything.
And I looked
I
at
don't even remember Chewbacca.
Oh no, that's definitely not in the movie
It's
at
the
all.
puppy man.
Well played,
Puppy
sir.
face.
That thing is not in the movie.
Did he get cut? Is there a deleted scene someplace in here?
Oh, I'm sure. Maybe it's just like the spaceship. It's not in there because they were like, I'm sure that they wanted to get a Star Wars audience in,
Right.
and they're like, well, let's just throw a Chewbacca-looking thing.
Well, I mean,
on
we
the
already
poster.
said the ship is not in there, and
Sure.
I guess the Chewbacca character is not in there.
Yeah.
I wonder if. Well, no, because there's the Galaxy Quest guy on there.
Right.
So maybe they went off character designs that they already had.
Totally.
I mean, maybe that was one of them in the cantina that stole the pie or something.
Sure.
I don't know.
It's possible. Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, and that green guy I think is good because he wasn't just like an outright just nothing but evil villain, right? From the beginning, it's like they're talking to him. He's, nefarious and he turns out to be evil. But like a lot of the characters, like a lot of the plot lines in this film, there are shades of gray that are there. And that's really, surprising to see in a movie that is so like boldly just low budget and just doesn't mind reusing the exact same explosion effect over and over again, doesn't mind borrowing from other films, which is such like a ballsy move. I can't even believe it. Like, it's one thing for like an Italian movie to do that, right? It's something like Shocking Dark to like, straight up rip something off. Okay. Ninja Terminator. But like for something like this to just be like, oh yeah, but it's the same ship that we used in our last movie. Like, and think no one's going to care is pretty crazy. And you would expect a movie like that to have just dropped the ball and to exercise that same lack of care in character development and in plot. And that's absolutely not the case. You could tell that there were people that were working on this movie that were like, look, we don't have another model. We just have that ship, but we're still going to make a good movie. And I really respect that a lot.
I think that happened a lot back around this time, though. I mean, as much as we, will say Corman's the budget-conscious guy, the actual television series Battlestar Galactica will have in the same episode the same explosions and mirrored shots. You know, like they'll show Starbuck fly this way, and then they'll just flip it for the next scene. And
V did that too.
Yeah. I mean, that's television budgets that you had to do. But I mean, at the time, I think Battlestar Galactica was probably one of the most expensive television shows.
Oh, yes. And also the Battlestar Galactica footage was used in films as well, just like how this was. I know Space Mutiny used it like to death. And again, one of those where they just took the Galactica. What was the name of the ship?
Galactica.
Yeah. And I think they just flipped it.
Really?
They turned it backwards.
Oh, yeah. I think you actually showed me that one time. Yeah.
I may have.
Yeah. No, totally. I do want to talk about the James Horner score. I don't think this is one of his
the
best
Wrath of
ones.
Khan.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the oldest joke in the world.
From what I understand, I think this is like one of his first scores.
It is, yeah, and I was looking that up before, so this is early for him. He would do mostly stuff like, he did like Humanoids from the Deep, right? And, he did like mostly really, kind of Corman stuff, and really Wrath of Khan is like the first big budget movie he got ever. This I would say it's not like one of his best. This is this
would have probably immediately followed Wrath of Khan.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
So in the timeline, all right.
It could have also been done before.
Yeah.
Like if I'm going to take a guess, my guess is that because at that point, because then you had him doing, there was a transition point where he did like, Something Wicked This Way Come, Kroll, and then he would like slowly start to get more prestige pictures. But my guess is he was probably like part of the factory. He was probably a part of the Corman factory, had written a bunch of music that's not even necessarily attached to the film, right? He probably just wrote a bunch of music, like here's some space music, and they used it on this particular movie.
I resent you saying that Krull is not prestige.
No, that's the transition to prestige.
No, that's his prestige.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the transition there, because it's definitely not, Kroll is not Space Raiders, but it's also not, Titanic.
No, that's true.
Kroll, halfway between Space Raiders and Titanic. Exactly. But I love James Horner. I absolutely love. He's got some. His score for The Rocketeer is one of my all-time favorite scores ever, and like I tear up every time I hear it because I love it so much.
He's very fluid. All of his notes just blend into itself and has a lot of emotion to it.
But he really, really like is in the same way that like this film does, not afraid to borrow from himself. There's that one part that is like very famous. It was used in like every trailer ever for a long time, that is from Wrath of Khan and from Aliens, and it's the exact same, and it's like dun 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 dun, and it's like, and it's right where it explodes at the end of Aliens, and it's like, dude, that's literally the same song. You literally used the exact same song. That is crazy.
Yeah, and he's not the only composer to do that.
No.
Oh, sure.
I know that Christopher Young has done that, with the Hellraiser soundtrack.
Mm-hmm. Right.
That's been used to death.
Yeah,
in so many different things.
I'm pretty
elements
sure a lot of Clint Mansell's notes have been used in trailers that he doesn't even do the music for.
Oh yeah.
So,
absolutely. Well, they used Requiem for a Dream constantly. But I again, not one of Horner's best. But here's the thing: is like mediocre Horner is still better than so many other people working.
Yeah,
in the
even
early
for
80s.
even for like his first outing.
Yeah.
Years.
Yeah.
To make scores, it's still great.
Yeah. Horner, rest in peace, is like one of the greats. Absolutely love Horner.
I looked up. I wanted to buy the score. That's the first thing I did after watching this movie.
Yeah.
I looked up and I couldn't find it.
And now you're a Space Invaders champion.
And when I googled Space Raiders score, everything that popped up was how to improve your score in Space Invaders.
Right.
You need to put it in quotations. Space Raiders.
I expect to hear about your improved score in Space Invaders. soon.
I don't think I'm pulling out the 2600 anytime soon.
Right.
Oh, you're going 2600.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not arcade, huh?
No. Well, I mean, I didn't have an arcade machine at home when I was a kid. I had a 2600.
Yeah,
Space
exactly.
Invaders.
Sure.
Exactly. You know, that 2600 was where it was at.
Yep.
You know.
And I had Star Raiders, the video game,
Yeah.
but not Space Raiders.
I remember the cover of Star Raiders and everything. Totally.
It
Oh,
came
yeah, no,
with
I
its
had
own
that too,
unique
yeah.
control.
It did.
That looked like a kind of a Intellivision control
Yep.
with all the touch tone buttons on it.
So we all agree Space Raiders is worth your time.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ending's a little bit, for me.
Sure.
It kind of fell flat.
Yeah, it did.
Oh, I didn't mind it so much.
It ran
I mean,
out of
you know,
steam just a little bit. I think that, they
got
were
the kid
going
home.
Sure, they got the kid home, but it was a lot
Is
more
that his
exciting
home?
in the middle.
Was that his home?
No, it's the middle of desert with like a bunch of like apparently like, like freaking Castro communist like guerrillas everywhere. Right. Like, but yeah.
That was his home.
Yeah. Close enough.
I suppose.
He'll get there somehow. Yeah, it's got some good robots in it.
Oh yeah, robots.
Rabbits.
Robots.
Yeah, what? Okay, fine. All right, I'm not done yet. The beginning had this whole. It wasn't even necessarily exposition.
Mm-hmm.
It was a voice over the loudspeaker
Of the warehouse.
talking. Yeah, at the warehouse, talking about the next employee social that was coming up. Something that there was there was a barrel leak or something on level 2.
Right.
I mean, it was nonstop. It was
Totally.
almost like your like high school announcements type of thing
For sure.
which
The
was
PA.
really bizarre but highly entertaining at the same
Yeah.
time, because it went from him doing these announcements and whatever else was going on in the other. I mean, and nonstop. It wasn't like, oh, and by the way, blah blah blah. I mean, it was this whole soliloquy. Then when the Space Raiders came, just on a dime, it's like, oh my gosh, we have people in the building. We have people,
Right.
everybody to the blah 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 blah. And then he's commentating as like they are doing their battle.
Totally. Yeah, it was pretty
And
interesting.
that was very lovely.
It reminds me
I
of
did
the
like that.
I like that opening
yeah,
very much.
and it was like because you think it's like a recording and it's not. It reminds me of like the part in Brazil where it's like he calls and it's like his
Yeah.
message is like sorry you cannot reach central services right now. This has not been a recording. Totally.
But it's
It was
like
a good moment.
your Kmart blue light special that turns into like a security alert.
right.
Yeah, it's like you're at the shopping center,
Yeah.
at Fry's or something.
What's the name of the boy again? Do we know? Peter.
What else has he been in?
Peter.
He was in Over the Top.
He was the-
Again, yep, that's exactly what I
The
remember.
voice
him
of
from.
Dan Witwicky
Yeah.
in Transformers,
Nah,
the
there's
series.
about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it was over the top.
Yep.
Which his performance in Over the Top, even though I love Over the Top for various reasons that I won't go into, that his performance in Over the Top was over the top. Where
Yeah.
it was in this, it's more tempered. It
Totally.
seemed a lot more natural and it fit within the environment. I mean, because he could have been the kid that's just like, oh my gosh, this is
Totally.
like I'm on a ship,
Yeah.
because they did ask him, is this the first time that you ever been off planet? And he's like, yeah, I've never seen a tree, I've never been in a spaceship or anything, even though he picked up a lot of the
He was young and
spaceship-y
innocent.
stuff.
This was several years before Over the Top, so it was before Hollywood like chewed him up and spit him out, and
Right.
he was like,
And he wasn't at the academy.
yeah,
and-
exactly.
Well, it's like a younger version of Luke Skywalker, basically.
Sure.
I mean, he was stuck on his desert planet too.
Yeah, and it's
Very-
definitely the power fantasy thing. You can absolutely see that they were going for that. It's they were like, oh yeah, we'll have a little boy who's actually like out there like destroying bad guys. Totally.
So, what I want to ask you guys is what happens to Peter following this movie? Like, where does he go?
I think he joins up with those rebels who are running around the jungle.
That were shooting at him? That all
Sure.
looked like Unit from Doctor Who?
Yeah, exactly. They'll embrace him into their ranks. Yeah.
But he's not on the jungle planet.
Oh, I thought that was Earth. Isn't that Earth? Wasn't the jungle? Wasn't that on Earth again?
Yeah, but that's not where he ended up.
Yeah. See,
Yeah.
I don't know.
No,
It
he
didn't make any
ended up
sense.
back home.
What do you think is going to happen?
I don't
to
know.
Peter?
See, what I think, and this is probably me thinking of this as an adult as opposed to the child audience that this is probably really intended for. That kid went through a lot the last couple of days. I mean, he got separated from his father,
Right.
got inducted into the pirate life, saved the life of a few people, caused countless murders, countless damage, brought an ecological life to a different planet that it's not native to.
Oh yeah, totally.
Which we didn't even discuss.
Destroyed the ecosystem of an entire planet.
And now he's just left on to his own devices.
Yeah.
And he doesn't even know the chaos that he caused, really. It's I kind of want to follow his adventure,
Yeah.
but I can't imagine he just goes back home
Yeah. No.
and lives a normal life now.
If he does, he's
even
gonna
if
be
he
very
doesn't have the
different.
PTSD for all the
Oh, yeah.
murder that he did, because
yeah.
he's a little
So here is the odd coincidence, and I don't know if this was subconscious, unconscious in the back of my brain.
I am that little boy.
I was kind of cleaning up the living room and doing dishes or whatever, and I put on Rick and Morty just completely randomly. The first episode that I started watching was the one with Fart.
Is that the one we were watching when we came in?
No, you were
Okay.
watching the one with the Jerrys.
Okay.
This is the one with. Oh no, that was the one with.
I thought it was because they mentioned fart.
Goodbye, Moon.
I don't know.
Man.
I only watched like part of it, but
So
the
it's Jermaine Clement is
Okay.
this cloud
Oh, okay.
entity. Anyways, I'm just
Oh,
going to explain
yeah.
instead of I don't know which ones you walked in on because it was just kind of playing in the
Right,
background.
right.
But the one that I watched initially was the one with the entity of Fart, and well anyways I won't go into the details of why he's called Fart. The thing
We'll go into
was
the details of why he's called Fart.
It's probably an acronym for something
No, it's-
entirely unfart related.
I don't want to go into it. It's so simple. There's nothing.
Why he's
Okay,
called Fart.
so
Is he
Rick
flatulent?
Rick says this guy looks like a fart.
Right.
And the entity says, I like that name. I am Fart. There, boom, that's it. Done.
Love
His
it.
name is Fart.
Good thing you didn't go into that.
So he was supposed to be. So what happened is, okay, God damn it, I can't believe I'm going to this whole goddamn thing, and this will probably all be cut anyways.
Welcome to the Rick and Morty cast.
So Morty finds out that Rick is selling weapons to bounty hunters, and Morty doesn't like it because Rick gets this money for a gun that he sells to Michael, and so and then he gets the money and they go to Click and Clacks or whatever it's called. It's just like this place that you go and play video games and whatever, and. So Morty has a real big problem with this, and so he wants to go and he wants to correct this, and he wants to stop Michael. He wants to reverse all this. So by his actions of taking the ship, and Rick's like, well, fuck you, I don't want to do this. So Morty leaves with the ship. He hones in on where Michael is with whatever, technology. He crash lands on top of the bounty hunter and kills him. Just as before he's about to shoot Fart. For whatever reason, whatever the bounty was, whatever how important or dangerous Fart was. So they save Fart. Rick is like, God damn it! Now I'm having to save Morty, but now we have to take this Fart thing and whatever. So they fly off. Well, as they are saving Fart, they are killing. Morty is killing like thousands of people.
Right.
And Rick sits there and he goes, Morty, are you happy now? Because in this whole effort to stop this bounty hunter for killing Fart for whatever reason that we don't know about, in that one shot before he was going to kill Fart, it would have been over. We didn't have to know anything.
Right.
On our efforts to save this Fart, you just killed 1,000, who knows how many people.
Totally.
Innocent or otherwise. It was just murder everywhere.
Well, I thought about that. Like, I was like, if that kid didn't stow away on their ship, then they'd probably all be alive.
Well, or they would go after the space pirates, but
Yeah.
not hesitate to just blow them out of the sky.
Sure.
I mean, But that space pirate group of what, like 6 people, 6 people, 5 that we know, 6 when the movie started. Seemed like a pretty tight-knit group. They probably had many travels together before this one.
Yeah.
When one little boy
I would be
decimated their entire
that
life.
little boy is bad luck, you know?
And, one space pirate left.
He's it'd be like in, if this was Master and Commander, they'd call him a Jonah, and then they'd like drum him off the ship. So
walk the space plank.
Exactly, walk the space plank.
That's it. We're done.
Space Raiders.
Space Raiders. It's was it goddamn asteroid? That goddamn rock.
Goddamn rocks.
Goddamn rocks.
In the future, we only drink Killian's.
That's right.
Cultfollowing.co. Like and subscribe. Bye.